Welcome everyone to this session today, and it will, as you probably have already seen, it's being recorded, and so just to keep you aware of that, if you want to keep your camera on or not. So, hi, I am Rosalie Lack. I'm the SCOSS coordinator. Thank you for joining us for the SCOSS organized event. Today, we're going to be showcasing the SCOSS endorsed infrastructures and the accomplishments made possible through collective funding. So, thanks to your support, these infrastructures are able to remain open and independent and community driven. Also, because these infrastructures are open by design, they connect and they interconnect. Together, they form a vibrant, interoperable network that strengthens discovery and advances open science worldwide. So there's a lot to celebrate here today, and we're bringing everyone together to showcase their accomplishments. So today, the way we've organized it is that the SCOSS family, as we call them, SCOSS endorsed infrastructures or SCOSS family, we've organized them by theme. So, and just to note that while multiple infrastructures appear under each theme, their services are unique, and each delivers a distinct service that contributes to the broader open science ecosystem. So today is going to be pretty fast-paced and fun. We will have each infrastructure is going to present for about 4 minutes. So it's going to be just moving pretty quickly along. And all the presentations will finish around be done in about an hour and a half, and then that will leave us about 15 minutes for questions. So you can save your questions for the end, or you can put them in the chat as they occur to you. If you have a question for a particular infrastructure, it'd be helpful if you put the infrastructure's name first so they can spot it in the chat and then respond directly to you right in the chat. So SCOSS is a nonprofit initiative that was formed in 2017. At the time, there was a growing recognition that while we were building amazing open infrastructures, they were struggling to remain financially sustainable. So the aim of SCOSS is to help sustain vital, non-commercial, open infrastructure that supports and implements open science. So there's a lot of important keywords in here. First of all, these infrastructures are vital and essential. They are non-commercial, and of course, they're open and they support open science. We believe strongly that open science must be built on open infrastructure. So the goal of that's the aim of SCOSS, and our goal is really to advocate for mainstreaming funding for open infrastructure. What that means is like any other service that we rely on, that we require ongoing support and not just one-time funding. So the way it works is our focus is on two main areas. First, we identify and endorse infrastructures that are critical for open science. So the way that works is that open infrastructures apply to SCOSS to be SCOSS endorsed infrastructures. We review them thoroughly, sort of a 360 review, where we're looking at their governance, their financial health, their community engagement, strategic planning, all aspects. And then we select 2 to 4 each year. And once endorsed, SCOSS facilitates the relationship between the funders, the consortia or individual institutions or funding institutions, and the infrastructure. We do not give out funds, but we put organizations in touch with SCOSS endorsed infrastructures with the goal that that relationship between the two parties will continue long term. And also, we support these infrastructures in strengthening their sustainability practices and things like improving communications and building capacity. So it's about raising funds, but also helping infrastructures to thrive over time. And the good news is if you're interested in becoming a SCOSS endorsed infrastructure, now is a good time. We have just released our expression of interest. It is due on January 15. There's a link here. We encourage you to apply and also to reach out if you have any questions. Here is my contact information. If you have questions, please do reach out. Also consider joining our newsletter or following us on social media. And so today, these are the 19 amazing SCOSS-endorsed open infrastructures, and they really span the entire research life cycle from journals to books, repositories, software, metadata services, and they also represent a broad global footprint across the Americas, Europe, and Africa. So today you're in for a huge treat to hear from all of these infrastructures. And as I said, we are organizing them by themes. So first up we have directories, indexes, and aggregation services. So I'm turning it over to DOAJ with Joanna.
Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you for the introduction, and it's really great to be here today as perhaps the older sibling of the SCOSS infrastructures to kick off the very impressive roll call of infrastructures that we have here today. Yeah, if you could move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we've always relied on financial support from the community, and we continue to do so. So I wanted to focus today on what your support has enabled us to do over the last year. So first and foremost, you have enabled us to continue our core work. And I think we can't say that strongly enough, actually, that infrastructures require money just to be able to keep functioning. We have an awful lot of activities that are going on behind the scenes that I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about, and that's what we've used much of our funding on. If you can move on the slide, please, Rosalie. Thank you. So this year we have processed a record number of journal applications, so that's 9,000 so far. So those are all journals wanting to be indexed in DOAJ. And of course, all of those applications are handled by our editorial team, who respond to journals and let them know why they haven't been able to be indexed, if that's the case. We're also constantly working to curate and update the metadata in our system. We now have 22,000 journal records, and it's really important for us to make sure that metadata is up to date and that those journals are still trustworthy. Your funding has enabled us to expand our team with more team members with language expertise, for example, in German, Ukrainian, and in Portuguese. And your support also funds our work to investigate nearly 400 publishers and journals for suspected questionable practice, and to make sure that those journals don't get into the index. So DOAJ is one of many services within the open access journals space. And it's really important that as infrastructures, we collaborate with one another to provide as good support for open access journals as we can. So I'm going to highlight just 3 of the partnerships that we've been focusing on this year. The first of them is a renewed partnership with Latindex, which is a similar service to DOAJ, focused very much on Latin American journals. And we're looking to improve alignment on standards and on our work around questionable journals. We are a core contributor to the European Diamond Capacity Hub, which launched earlier this year, and we're working there to support quality alignment across the European research area, and also to support the discovery of Diamond open access journals through the Diamond Discovery Hub. And finally, China continues to grow in terms of the amount of research outputs and open access journals we're seeing. And so to improve our capacity, we're collaborating with the China National Publications Import and Export Group. Sustainability is why we're all here today. And it's, of course, a core concern for us as an open infrastructure. One of the most important steps that we have taken this year, Rosalie, could you move forward the slide? Thank you. Is to establish DOAJ as a non-profit foundation in Denmark, led by a community board, and that's of funders, librarians, and public organisations. And that's really enabled us to streamline our organisation and ensure a strong future for the organisation. And we've also taken this opportunity to recommit to the principles of open scholarly infrastructure. We first did that in 2022, and so we've just renewed that now. And that provides us a really straightforward way for us to be open with the community around our values of sustainability, transparency, and accountability. And then finally, because my time is running out, part of our work, which is very important to us, is our outreach work and our ambassador program. And we work to raise awareness of the importance of open access and the importance of publication standards. And so if you can move on to the next slide, please, Rosalie, our team and ambassadors have contributed to by the end of the year, it will be over 50 events worldwide. So I just wanted to finish by thanking the community for your ongoing support. We're aware that these are difficult, challenging times for many libraries and research institutions across the world. And I'm delighted, really, and heartened to see so many organisations continuing to prioritise funding for community-led open infrastructure. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joanna. So we are moving on. We are at lightning pace here for Helena from Open Policy Finder.
Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Maybe I can have my first slide, Rosalie, please. Thanks. Hello, I'm Jelena Stanovnik. I'm the product manager of JISC Open Policy Finder. For those of you who maybe don't know us, or maybe you know us as Sherpa, we are one of the probably oldest infrastructures in open access there is. We started in 2005 as a small project. And essentially, we are a data platform. We aggregate open access policies for journals, for books, for funders. We enrich and refine them and redistribute them through our website and through our API so that librarians and research managers can easily get this information and integrate it in their workflows. That saves them time and reduces costs. Next slide, please, Rosalie. I'm thinking. I thought I would just particularly focus on the business model and financials of the Open Policy Finder over the last year, and the particular challenge that we are facing at the moment is moving away from grant-dependent survival to a more diversified income model. Next slide, please, Rosalie. Because we are seeing, as part of JISC, we are funded partly by the consortium, by the UK organisations who are members of JISC, and that's supplemented by global donations and also by grants, and we're seeing a huge drop in, a considerable drop in one-off grant income over the last years, and we're projecting that to drop further in the near future. Next slide, please, Rosalie. So we are working on building a modular business model. Over the last year, we have relaunched our global supporter scheme with more defined benefits for the members, but also with a closer relationship with the members of the community. At the same time, we are investigating about potentially commercializing our API while balancing the commercial need with the need for openness, and obviously ensuring that the data on the website and on the API also remains open for everybody. Next slide, please. So how do we spend it? How do we spend our money? Similarly to DOAJ, a lot of it is about operational cost and the cost of the teams and team members doing constant data review. It is not enough to to add new data to the platform. It's about ensuring that it stays relevant, it stays up to date, and this is what we spend a lot of time doing. This is part of our huge commitment, and it's very important that data is up to date. Just for the journals, we have 27,000 journal policy records. In addition to this, we have 3 other data sets. So that is part of constant and very expensive work because that is all done manually by a team of people in-house. Over the last year, we have also improved our interface. You might remember last year we joined 3 different Sherpa services into one website, and we have been improving it over the year based on feedback from our users, both for design and functionality. We're also completing the back-end migration that's going to be completed in the next few months. And that will give us a more robust and more modular back-end system so that we are able to build new services and new functionality based on emerging need. We've also launched a new journal publisher acquisition policy, just making it clearer what our inclusion criteria are. We have welcomed new members for the advisory board. So we have members across stakeholder groups so that this investment on GISC Open Policy Finder truly represents the needs and interests of the users. And like I mentioned, we relaunched the supporter scheme with more defined benefits. That's it from me. Thank you. Thank you for your ongoing support. Like Joanna said, it is very important that we are enabled to stay sustainable and do our work for the global community. And a lot of it is about doing what we do best day to day, and we do need support and funding for that. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. We are now moving on to OAPEN and DOAB. It's a lot of technology here, trying to get everybody spotlit. All right, go for it.
Thanks, Rosalie. You can skip to the next slide and maybe even the next one. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Silke Davison, and I'm one of the 2 community managers for OAPEN and DOAB. So I work very closely with our library stakeholder group. Hopefully most of you have heard of us, but if you don't know, we are 2 infrastructures that support open access to books and open access book publishing, and we focus on the areas of hosting, distribution, and preservation of OA books. We also, you can move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. We are, the collections have, for OAPEN, we have around 40,000 open access books, and for DOAB, there is the Director of Open Access Books in its full name, has around 100,000 books indexed, and these are curated and specifically to meet quality assurance standards, and they are also open, so available for everybody to read and access for free and download. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of updates and highlights from the last year for both of the organisations. Next slide. Thank you. So maybe you've already noticed, if you're familiar with the old design, but we launched a new visual identity for OAPEN, and that's our new logo in the corner, and this slide deck is also courtesy of the new identity. Next slide, please. So we worked with a graphic artist, Sophie Uch, and this new design is supposed to be more visually appealing and also representative of our mission, which is to support the transition to open access for books with publishers, libraries, research funders, and research, and also to advance knowledge for the public good as well. And we're also going to do a redesign of DOAB, which is in progress. So maybe by the end of the year, we'll have something more to show. So watch this space. Next slide, please. We've also completed a technical review of both infrastructures earlier in the year with the Curtin Institute for Data Science, which is based out of Curtin University in Perth in Australia. Next slide, please. So this enabled us to develop a technical roadmap so that we can see which developments we need to do to continue to make the infrastructure sound and reliable and stable as well for all our users and all our different stakeholder groups. And it also enabled us to look at our evaluation for publishers, and we were able to update this as well as part of the review. Next slide, please. And we also welcomed a new head of technology. Next slide. Yeah, thanks. She's called Anna, and she is based in Poland and in the Middle East, in the Emirates. And she is going to lead our technical implementation of our strategic plan. And so she is in charge of ensuring that the technology platform for OAPEN and DOAB is secure, it's scalable, and it's aligned with our community needs. So there's a blog there, and that will tell you all about Anna. I can drop the link in as well, and her expertise. You can see some of her experiences here as well. Next slide, please. We've also strengthened our partnership with CERN. CERN is where our servers are hosted for the OAPEN library and DOAB. You can skip to the next slide, please. This is an image. Somewhere in this room is where the servers are. Next slide, please. And this partnership will also help enhance the stability of the platform and help protect us. We work closely with them to protect against bot attacks that slow down or make the service temporarily unavailable for our users. And this is absolutely what we do not want. So it's good that we have such a nice relationship with them to help us combat these issues and find solutions. Next slide, please. We also started a project called with the EU, OAPEN EU, and this is to support Horizon Europe funded authors to meet these requirements as well, and also to strengthen the dissemination and the discoverability of Horizon Europe funded books and chapters. I think there's one more point, and then I'm aware I'm slightly over time, but also this year was OAPEN Library's 15th anniversary, so it was launched back in 2010. And if you skip to the next slide, this is a picture from the Frankfurt Book Fair, and in the background on the screen is one from when it was launched, and we had a little celebration there as well in October. So thank you for listening, and if you have questions, I'd love to hear them, and enjoy the rest of the showcase.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being so on time. So we're moving to a next grouping of infrastructures under open publishing. And the first one up is our wonderful AJL, African Journals Online.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for inviting us to the showcase. This is such an exciting thing to be part of. And thank you from the very bottom of our hearts for all of the input and assistance that we have had this year. We have had an excellent year. Next slide, please. So just a quick, this is our 25th year of doing our work, and we continue to grow. We continue to entrench ourselves in the AJL's entrenched in the African scholarly ecosystem. It's wonderful. Next slide, please. And what we have, next slide, please. Sorry, Rosalie, next slide. Okay. AJL works for the equitable amplification of African verses in global research. And as everybody else has mentioned, thank you. And as everyone else has mentioned, we need quite a lot of input just to stay working. And so our most exciting development this year is that we have increased our staff complement by 50%, adding 3 awesome new staff, which have enabled us to expand our activities in the communications and journal support arms, which is a very significant part of the AJL. Sorry, I've blanked. it's a very, very important part of AGIL's continued support of journals. And we've also added staff in journal assessments, which brings us to the JPPS system, which is AGIL's almost our USP. It is our African-derived, African-made journal publishing practices and standards framework, which helps journals to improve their own internal workings, as well as helps authors to choose where to publish. Next slide, please. Right, we have had 45,518,655 downloads from everywhere in 2024, and we are on track to do similarly well in 2025. Next slide, please. And we feature journals from over 40 African countries. We offer our content in English as French. We have Portuguese journals, Swahili, Arabic, and several indigenous languages, which is, as well as Swahili, we have at least one in Xhosa, which is fantastic. We have traveled extensively, not to 40 African countries, unfortunately, but over, I think, 11 or 12 conferences were attended by AGIL staff this year, which is fantastic for us and which we couldn't have done without the support of SCOSS. Next slide, please. And we have added, I know it's not going to sound like much, but it is a long, long process, 54 new journals, and there are hundreds in the wings. We have new applications come in daily. The demand for AGIL support is only growing, and we can only do this with your help. Thank you so much. I will stop ahead of time. Thank you very, very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that presentation. Really appreciate it. I'm moving on to Epicence. So I'm looking for Raphael.
Hello.
Welcome.
Can you hear me this time?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. We can move to the next one, please. Thank you. So, hi everyone, I'm Raphael Tournois from Epicence. I'm the platform manager. Epicence is a publishing platform for diamond open access journals. There is no fee for the authors, no fee for the readers, and actually also no fees for the journals. So Epicence has adopted an overlay journal model. What does it mean? It means that the content of the articles is hosted by open repositories such as Archive, HAL, Zenodo, bioRxiv, etc. So other repositories are possible. Each new version of the submitted article is hosted and visible online in an open access as a preprint and also as a published article. So in a way, Epicence acts as a layer of services offered to the academic community. The platform provides an all-in-one publishing solution for diamond open access journals. Our platform, Epicence, welcomes new journals from any language, any discipline. We accept new journals and also existing journals, including flipping journals from commercial publishers. Currently, we support 42 journals with board members from all the continents. With our overlay model, the platform handles the certification, peer review, and also the dissemination of research, whereas the open repositories handle the registration and archiving. Open repositories are really good for archiving content and also registration. So this is why we rely on these opportunities. When it comes to peer review, Epicence supports single blind review or open peer review, depending on the choices of the journals. We may switch to the next one, please. Thank you. So Epicence's sustainability is anchored into a multi-layered funding approach that distributes financial responsibility across various stakeholders without transferring costs to the authors or readers. It means that we first rely on foundational institutional support. The platform's core operations are jointly ensured by its supervising bodies, so it means CNRS, INRIA, and INRAE, and also the French Ministry of Higher Education and Research. This kind of institutional backing provides essential stability and demonstrates public organization commitment to academic-led publishing ecosystem and diamond open access. But we also rely on infrastructure efficiency because we are sharing the material, the hardware infrastructure with HAL and ScienceConf, our open access platforms, and by leveraging these also existing repositories such as Archive, Zenodo, the Archive and Archive, and Software Heritage, and also any database data repositories, Epicence exemplifies how we can use resource pooling to reduce the economic burden of scholarly publishing. We also work with project-based funding. For instance, EP Sciences leverages also additional resources through competitive grants, including support from the European Union and also the French National Fund for Open Science. The CNRS also has provided dedicated funding for specific support projects. We also benefit from journal-specific support. In this way, individual journals can also receive targeted funding from universities, such as the University of Lorraine, or also from funding consortia such as Koala. But this type of funding is only for the journals, not for the platform. So we can't only rely on our institutional funding and project funding, as it is not scalable in the long term. This is why the SCOSS support is really important for us. And thanks to SCOSS support, libraries and institutions worldwide are now able to contribute to EP Sciences sustainability and growth. This allows us, for instance, to connect to new repositories. We will soon connect to Digital CSIC in Spain, the RK repository in Austria, the Baobab repository on the African continent, and more repositories are going to be connected to EP Sciences. In this way, we can operate a fully decentralized publication system for the benefit of the academic communities. It will also allow us to develop new features such as improved management and relationships between publications, dataset, and software. We also started working on improving the accessibility of our journals with work on user interfaces and also supporting new formats. This year, we also welcome 5 new journals and are reaching 42 Diamond Open Access journals. We have also started working on an ambassador program to develop outreach and engagement about the relay model and also about our journals. This work is also supported by the structuration of the promotion of our publishing model with webinars and increased social media presence. And there's more to come in 2026. Thanks for your attention and thanks for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so much fun just getting to hear everybody's updates. Wonderful. Thank you. And now I'll move on to hear what's going on with Redelique. Ariana, oops. Let's see.
Yes, thank you so much, Rosalie.
Welcome, Ariana.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Hello, everybody. First, I want to express our deep gratitude to SCOSS for its unwavering support over these years. SCOSS has not only provided support to get essential funding, but has also offered visibility, coordination, and global advocacy for open infrastructures like ours. Their commitment has strengthened our capacity to serve journals, researchers, and readers, and it has shown that collective responsibility and international solidarity can truly make a difference. We are profoundly thankful for their continued trust in our mission. Redelique and Amelika, whose mission is to strengthen diamond open access and non-commercial open science, framed in the paradigm of science as a global public good, have grown in many ways. We are now working with nearly 2,000 journals and are approaching 1 million full-text articles. We are evaluating around 100 journals per month. This reflects the strength of a global community committed to open science, but it also brings a great responsibility to maintain and expand a public, sustainable, and reliable infrastructure that can serve these journals and the millions of readers who rely on them. To fulfill this mission, we must continuously strengthen our technological capacity. Demand for processing, storage, and editorial services has multiplied, and applications from new journals continue to rise, especially from the Global South. With our current resources, we have been at the limits of our infrastructure. This is why the SCOSS participation is essential. Through SCOSS, we have received contributions from 38 institutions from 7 countries so far, from Belgium, Denmark, Switzerland, Swiss, France, Canada, and the United States. With this support, we could acquire a new server that helps us to ensure the stability, continuity, and expansion of our services. We are still in need for more processing, computing power, and storage, but we have strengthened our infrastructure very importantly through SCOSS, and we'll be working with the community to continue strengthening our technical capacity. But we also need a broader reflection, and I think we can do this together. So community-owned infrastructures cannot depend on sporadic or short-term funding. The real challenge before us is to make the support structural to ensure long-term predictable investment from universities, libraries, and research funders. Without such commitment, the scholarly communication ecosystem becomes vulnerable to commercial dominance, where a small group of companies dictates prices, controls data flows, and shapes their research agenda according to market incentives rather than social or scientific needs. Non-commercial open access is essential because it preserves diversity, autonomy, and equity. It allows local research agendas to flourish. It values multilingualism, enabling knowledge to be produced and shared in the languages that reflect our realities, our communities, and our intellectual traditions. This is something commercial models rarely prioritize, yet it is fundamental for a truly inclusive and global scholarly landscape. So with this support, the support to Redalik and Amelika is therefore not only a matter of sustaining technology, it is a matter of protecting the capacity of our academic communities to define their own priorities, to publish in their own languages, and to maintain knowledge as a public good. The contributions through SCOSS has been translated directly into strengthened infrastructure, technical infrastructure, into access for thousands of journals and millions of readers, and into a more just and sustainable scientific ecosystem. It is an investment in diversity, in multilingualism, and in the academic sovereignty of our regions. So thank you very much again, SCOSS and all the team in SCOSS for your continuous support. And of course, I want to thank the community of institutions, universities, and funders that have trust on us to continue working for our mission. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ariana. Appreciate your words of inspiration. So we will be moving now to PKP to hear about their what's been going on there. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosalie. Hi, everyone. My name is Magnus Liu. I'm the project manager at PKP, and I'm relatively new to the organization compared to a lot of the lifers. So it'll be the first time meeting all of you, so I'm pleased to meet you. If we could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the Public Knowledge Project was founded in 1998, and our flagship software, OJS, was created to reduce the cost and complexity of running a scholarly journal and to overall help make research more accessible. OJS provides free and open source platform that empowers journals, particularly smaller or emerging journals, to publish online, manage peer reviews, and participate in open access publishing. So in 2024, the number of journals using our software grew from 44,000 to over 52,000, extending our reach from 148 to 161 countries, and demonstrating continued growth in the Global South while maintaining support for multiple languages across more than 60 languages. Next slide, please. At PKP, we have a diversified financial model with about 20% of our revenue coming from our membership program. We have many pathways into membership that respond to our community's diverse resource capacities and expertise, including in-kind contributions and financial contributions. Next slide, please. Thank you to all of our members, including those that provide in-kind support and as well as critical financial support, and especially to SCOSS for enabling advancement in several key areas that are critical for supporting our community of users, administrators, and developers. SCOSS investment into PKP has enabled us to strengthen many areas, key systems that are essential to our community. And some of these include improving our documentation platform to smooth out the workflow and make it easier and efficient to manage. editing and reorganizing Learning OJS, which is our role-based documentation, which users and administrators rely heavily upon during the release cycle and well beyond the release cycle. And most importantly, this effort all occurred as a result of collaboration and input from our community. And furthermore, the translations of our upgrade guides and plugins, application guides, they were also important developments of the past year. Next slide, please. Our current research priorities include an integrated preprint workflow, other scholarly workflow innovations, including continuous publication and open peer review. So this work was made possible thanks to the European Commission and our Open Research Europe project, which is currently planned for included in 3.6 release in 2026. So additionally, there are several other research areas and opportunities on the horizon. Next slide, please. This is my last slide. So for example, long-term support, which we call LTS releases, which we introduced in 2022. It creates stability and support predictability for users, communities, and administrators with limited resources to keep up with every single new release. So 3.5, which is upcoming, will have an LTS release. And while the release of 3.6, which is largely funded by the European Commission for the ORE project, it will not be LTS, but 3.7 will be LTS. So support for LTS releases, including 3.7, is one of the most impactful ways to help ensure continued access to our software by our broader community. And in closing, even if your library or institution doesn't have a publishing program built on PKP software, I'm guessing it serves students and scholars that benefit from this research. If you serve students and scholars who benefit from quality open research, we invite you to consider becoming a member and supporting our mission through our financial contributor pathway. Thank you very much for your time and for your support.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, and we are moving forward. We are going to bring on the stage Jean-Sebastien from SciPost.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so it's a great pleasure to be here. Rosa, you can already switch to the next slide, which is the more contentful one. So my name is Jean-Sebastien Co. Like Rosa said, I'm actually the founder and current chairman of SciPost. So if you're not familiar with this, SciPost is really a grassroots publishing infrastructure. So it was started by me and a bunch of other from the academic world, trying to build an infrastructure to replace the existing systems by something which, implements something that we call genuine open access. So really publishing as active professional scientists would like to have it, putting science first above everything else. So the first thing about SciPost is that it's really meant as a complete publishing infrastructure covering the whole workflow from preprints to metadata, archiving, etc. We are using open peer review from the start. We really believe in leveraging the concept of openness to improve scientific quality. And scientific quality is really the main thing that we're after for SciPost. It's community-led, so it's essentially a non-for-profit foundation established in the Netherlands, but operating internationally. All editorial decisions are taken by professionally active academics, namely those that also write the papers and write the reviews. So the legal structure of SciPost essentially makes it kind of impossible to have it taken over by anything, so it will remain in the hands of the academic community forever onwards. One of our main driving points is that we are offering an alternative business model to publishing. We are essentially enemies of the concept of APCs, article processing charges, because we do not agree with the dilapidation of research funds to pay for publishing, and we have an alternative that I'll explain in one of the next slides. So we'll see. SciPost was started in the field of physics, but we are currently starting to expand in chemistry and other fields. And we've got different publishing content with traditional papers. We're also publishing code bases and things like that. So next slide, please. So the journals that we have on offer that are really upscaled are in physics. Our scale is relatively modest for now, although, I mean, if you compare it to Open Research Europe, it's about 4 times the size. So we've got about 3,600 publications. Glad to say that we've got a number of Nobel Prize winners also sending us stuff. So we're very, very happy with this. And SciPost itself, besides its in-house journals, also offers hosted journals. So these are journals that are essentially piggybacking on our infrastructure and our business model, but that are fully editorially independent from SciPost. Next slide, please. So what's our business model? Our business model is that first we run the publishing and we care only about the quality, and then at the end of it all, we can compile the expenditures that we've had to produce all these papers. But for each paper, we've got authors. These authors have got affiliations. So what we do is that we contact these affiliations and we inform them of the number of papers that they've been related to. So we can kind of give a figure of the expenditures that are done by SciPost to cover activities from particular institutions. One individual publication on average costs us about 500 euros, so a fraction of the current norm. And I insist that we don't curtail anything about the quality. Our papers are really absolutely thoroughly checked throughout. So what we'd like is for this to be seen as a much cheaper alternative to current ways of doing APCs. Next slide. So you'll find all our financial information also openly on our site. So we use openness for everything, including all our financial details. I invite you to also look in detail at our business model explained there. I would like also to invite you to look at our roadmap, because we're ready for expansion in lots of different fields, and the only thing preventing us from doing that is current lack of resources. So, hopefully being part of SCOSS is going to enable of that. And we'd welcome you to join our sponsors list if you're not already there. So thank you very much for your attention. See the website for more details. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Great to hear of your updates. So we are, everyone can take a stretch. Let's have a stretch moment. Moving into a new category. We are into grouping around repositories. And unfortunately, our first infrastructure had the perfect storm of meetings at this exact same time and are not able to join us. But I did want to recognize Archive as one of the SCOSS family members and doing amazing work. And I encourage you to check them out and to support them. And so moving on now to Dryad, and let me bring Maria on board.
Thank you, Rosalie.
Thank you.
Okay, you can move ahead to the next slide, please, and to the following one, actually. So hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Maria Guerreiro. I'm Head of Partnership Development at Dryad. I'm really grateful for all of you for making the time to attend today, and especially to the academic institutions who have provided support to Dryad in the past 3 years through the SCOSS program. If you're not familiar with us, Dryad is an open data publishing platform. So we publish research data sets across all research domains and in a wide range of formats. And importantly, Dryad is also a multi-stakeholder community committed to a common vision for the open availability, but also the routine reuse of all research data, and importantly, data that has been made and publicly available and is in the open. Dryad is also a community-based service that aims to provide exceptional support in conjunction and partnership with academic institutions, scholarly societies, and publishing organizations of all sizes to cater to the needs of researchers to comply with funder and publishing requirements for sharing research data sets. So I would like to focus my presentation on 3 key features that we've worked on this year. So you can advance to the next slide, Rosalie, please. So the first one that I would like to spend some time on is that we put quite a lot of effort into improving the user experience for our researchers. So what you can see on the slide are 2 snapshots of the visuals that are now available through the Dryad submission interface. And actually the one on the back provides the first overview of the process that researchers will go through as they submit a data set to Dryad. So as the main users of the Dryad platform, both as data creators, but also as data consumers, we know that researchers are under great pressure to comply with funder and publishing mandates for open data. And we also know from various reports and literature that has been published over the last 20 years that they lack the time and often also the available resources to learn about requirements and necessary procedures to share data, but also to document data well to maximize the reusability of their data sets. So underpinning Dryad curation process, which is a process done by human experts that validate all the research data sets and all the files that have been provided. Our submission interface is now much more user intuitive and guides researchers seamlessly on what they need to comply and supply to maximize the usability of their data sets. And importantly, we have also integrated the README wizard, which is a requirement for all our submissions that prompts researchers with what they need to provide to assist with data documentation through automation. You can move ahead to the next slide, please, Rosalie. So the second feature I would like to highlight today is that we've enhanced the Dryad service to researchers through new integrations. And in particular, I would like to highlight the recently launched integration with bioRxiv, the preprint server for biology. So for 18 years, Dryad has established system integrations with publishing workflows, but also academic institution platforms. And we now are taking a step ahead to enable researchers to share data in conjunction with their preprints. So we believe that we're working collaboratively with other like-minded organizations, not-for-profit organizations like many of us here as part of the SCOSS family, to build an ecosystem that meets researchers where they are. And they're bringing value, the value of verification, data curation in our case, to the wide preprint landscape, contributing to build trust in preprints as de facto research objects in scholarly research and assessment. On the next slide, I would like to tell you more about our brand new partner program. And this is very much aligned with the spirit of SCOSS as aiming to build sustainability and long-term financial sustainability for open infrastructure and not-for-profit organizations. So our updated fee structure has been developed over the course of the past 3 years and is the outcome of close collaboration between Dryad and key stakeholders in our community. In specific, we had academic institutions of all sizes and kinds working with us directly, publishing organizations ranging from small academic societies to large publishers. And collectively, we try to build a model that distributes Dryad costs, operational and data handling costs across our user community and partner organizations that we feel is now fairer, it's more flexible and still sensible to the conjuncture, the financial constraints that our users may face and our partners may face. So the fees are set on a cost basis, meaning that pricing really reflects the real costs of us delivering the services, in particular, curating data sets, publishing data sets, and archiving them forever, rather than putting the fees in association with the value and what the market may be convinced to pay. And that's really important for us as a not-for-profit organization operating in the community interest. So this approach allows us to limit author fees, treat all stakeholders equally and equitable. Everything is publicly available, and importantly, still uphold to our values while helping our organization to thrive. So I would like to, I'll share all these links in the chat. Can you just go back to the last slide? Sorry. On a final note, I would like to highlight that we still welcome your continued investment on Dryad, in specific to enable us to make high quality data publishing affordable and easy, to continue supporting researchers with open data publishing, and to enable our partner community to build the research data management programs and make our services available to their research communities. Yeah, thank you for putting that slide up. I wasn't sure if I was running out of time. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Sorry, you actually are running out of time, and I'm having technical issues. So
okay.
Storm there. Sorry about that, Maria. But thank you so much for listening. And every one of these slides will be available afterwards, also, just to be sure. So thank you so much. So we will be now you saw the preview of where we're going. We will be heading off to DSpace at this point.
Yes. So hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. Thanks so much for having DSpace, having me. So my name is Holger Lenz. I'm the DSpace program coordinator. And we can already move to the next slide, Rosalie. Thank you for moving through the slides. So for those of you who may not be familiar with DSpace, DSpace is an institutional repository. It got started in 2000 when a group of researchers at Hewlett-Packard and MIT libraries decided to build an open source digital repository. And the first public release of DSpace came out in 2002. And as you can see, since then, it's grown significantly. We're now running on DSpace version 9. That's the latest release, released in July 2025 this year. According to the graphic that you see on the screen here, it's a bit older, but it says that 39% of repositories run on DSpace worldwide. We have about 3,300 installations on our registry. So that's just what is known. Of course, it doesn't mean that every user of DSpace also registers their instance. It's a voluntary registry. But we know DSpace is heavily used in over 120 countries. And here's a discrepancy, and this is why we're very glad, and we approached SCOSS with this and said, "Can you help us?" And we're very grateful that we received the funding that we did, and we're able to do what we did with this, because despite this high usage, we only have 92 member institutions. Member institutions are those institutions that are committed to supporting DSpace financially as an open source, open access model, like the rest of programs and initiatives that's presenting here today. We're dependent on donations, membership fees. And so there's this discrepancy between only 92 members, about thousands of users around the world, which you can see too in the number of actually the program staff before SCOSS funding was one DSpace technical lead, Tim Donahue, who may be familiar to some of you. We had one community outreach coordinator who only worked 15% on DSpace, and then we had a little bit of additional support through our senior director, only 10%. So everyone else volunteering for DSpace, so you can see there was a huge need for just more staff, more manpower, more resources in that regard. So we can move on to the next slide. So we applied for SCOSS funding for the 2022-2024 funding period. Our target, you can see here, 473. The outcome, what we reached, was 234,852, which of course is a discrepancy, is not quite the target, but still for the DSpace budget was a very substantial amount, which we're very grateful for. And that allowed to hire a program coordinator. So that's me. And I started in April 2024 as the program coordinator for DSpace and fully funded by SCOSS contributions. So now if you move to the next slide, so just some of the highlights of what we were able to accomplish by means of these contributions. So my role basically is, as I said, fully funded by SCOSS contributions. It's community oriented. It's meant to provide outreach and engagement opportunities for the community. Big part of my work this year was around the DSpace and DSpace CRIS merger. If you haven't heard about it yet, the two systems are now going to merge. This was approved by DSpace governance just this month, or actually last month in November. So big news there. That was a huge part of the work that I did this year, just working with the community to make that happen, and working with governance to make that happen. And then just also outreach and engagement opportunities like webinar series where we have showcasing of DSpace features, showcasing of migration stories. I have a monthly coffee hour that I provide for the community where people can just come in and ask questions. I've been traveling a little bit too, presentations at open repositories. We have national user groups with DSpace around the world, and I've attended a few of those events as well to present and to coordinate things. And then the day-to-day business around user engagement and governance support. But you can see, which has been really nice, we had a 25% increase in membership from 2022 to 2025. We are now up to 123 members. And especially nice is that the initial cohort of institutions that funded DSpace through SCOSS were three consortia, these three consortia were part of that. So the Finnish FINILIB, the Canadian Research and Knowledge Network, and the CSAL, which is the Swiss Academic Library Consortium. And they are now continuing as members with DSpace after the SCOSS funding round has ended, which contributes to our budget, of course, and which helps us tremendously. And so a huge shout out and thanks to SCOSS, to the family, and to all the support that's been given to us. And that's it. And if you have any questions, comments, here's my contact info, which I'll also drop in the chat. Thank you so much for having DSpace.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we are moving on as we're staying on schedule. Hi, Lautaro, you're up next.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hi, I'm Lautaro Matas. I'm the Executive and Technical Director of La Referencia, which is our regional Latin American network of open science. We harvest and repositories of all our regions, and we develop services, but also we work with the governments. We are a government network founded essentially for our governments. So our basic operational costs are covered by public funding, but for developing new services and innovation, we require external funding. And in that sense, this SCOSS cycle and the people and the institutions that contributed these years allows us to develop two essential components for our infrastructure. One is the usage statistics service that is already running and giving services to hundreds of repositories and national portals in our regions. And the second one is a PID, public good PID that is already working in Brazil. And this service was entirely developed by our team, thanks to the SCOSS contribution and also the funding of the IBCT Institute in Brazil. So as our main outcome this year, we have the DARC system already working in Brazil, and the usage statistics service also providing service to our region, our member countries, which are 11 now. Next slide, please. So regarding the usage statistics service is something that is already consolidated and being adopted all around the region. Our infrastructure is mature now, and we are offering services, as I said, to hundreds of repositories, and we want to expand this to journals and other research sources. So, and this year we also formalized an MOU with OpenAir. This service was initially based on the OpenAir development, and we need to expand this product to interoperate better with OpenAir. So we are going to work together during the next year to that. We're also improving the boat detection. You know that AI boats are we are dealing with that kind of income and visits is being a problem for all of us in the repository community. So detecting that and filter that is essential for give good statistics. So sorry, next slide, please. And regarding DARC, which is a decentralized archival resource key implementation, we are happy to announce that it's in production now. It was in the beginning of the cycle, it was a proof of concept, and thanks to the collaboration between the IBICT Institute in Brazil, which is our Brazilian node of La Referencia, and thanks to the contribution, we have now a mature product that is running in Brazil. It's serving to all 25 institutions, and we have 600,000 ARCs mined at this moment. And this is also the base of our next challenge. Sorry, next slide, please. because this year we just a few days ago, we announced that we are going to receive funding for the next 3 years in order to work on other three essential components. One is a semantic and multilingual search and metadata enrichment integrated in our harvesting and our search portal. The semantic multilingual search is important for visibility of our production in different languages. So we think that is an essential component for the future of the open science infrastructure. We also, with this funding, we are going to expand the development that we did with the thanks to SCOSS funding to the entire region. So we are going to build a public good service for PIDs in order to cover all our research results collection. And we are going to develop also regional database repository for orphan institutions and researchers. And this is also important to improve the data, the research data coverage in our region. But it's important to say I am bringing this here because this result, this project, is part of the outcome of the SCOSS cycle. Because first, the GR was developed thanks to the contributions of the SCOSS donors, but also the visibility that all this process give us. It was important in order to show that we have the capacity to build new services, and we think that the outcome of this project will serve also to the SCOSS family and to the SCOSS and to the open science global infrastructure. So next slide, please. So we want to thank you, all the institutions who contributed to this, to develop these services. And of course, we also have work to do in the usage statistics infrastructure, which is not part of the IOI. So we are trusting that we will continue receiving support for that. But I want to say that being part of this SCOSS family was a transformative step in our journey. We never forget the support and the visibility that SCOSS provided to us, and this success in this funding is essential for the next step. So thank you very much to Rosalie, the SCOSS teams, and all the family.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you so much, Lautaro, and congratulations.
I'm here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rosalie.
Hey,
Can you hear me? Yes. It's hard to come after Lautaro because of his big news. I don't have such great news to share, but I will share what we have done and what great infrastructure we are representing. A bit different from other infrastructures here because we are a universal source code archive, serving the scholarly ecosystem, so connected to some of you here. So Episciences, for example, is connected with us. And if you see in this nice diagram, you see how we are a backbone for software source code archival, serving one part, but not only academic infrastructure, we're also serving industry, public administration, and cultural heritage. As a nonprofit, multi-stakeholder, and open infrastructure, which is hard to be here, we collect, preserve, and share all source code and have now many files and many projects. If you go visit the archive, which you can do even if you're not a software developer, you can see it on archive.softwareheritage.org, trying to have this shift in academia to change the mindset that software is part of the research production. And there's a challenge, a big challenge, so in different levels of challenges, because the ecosystem is fragmented and not engaged in this source code archival. The preservation practices are different, and despite low awareness and diverse audiences, some are engaged, but that's difficult. And here in this community, we discovered that not a lot of libraries know about software heritage or know that it's needed to archive source code. So we have this difficulty as well. But with that difficulty, we are very grateful to have joined the SCOSS family and having the support of you, Rosalie and Vanessa, and all the team, and all of you here as a family in the round with we are in the 5th round with Hilary, which will present to you later the RDA. In this round, we have one big outcome, and Rosalie will change the slide to show you. It is the creation of this interest group, Archives and Libraries, which we call in short, a league. Why it's so important? It's a way for us to give the support to those in the libraries communities so that the libraries support us and we can support them. So we supporting that through tailored support and through a community, and treating code as a first-class output. And I don't have any big news to announce. We have continuously worked on that, and there are a lot of members that join the interest group, and we are keen to get more members in. So if you can share the news, can share this information. I'm going to post also later in LinkedIn a post on that. This will be a great advancement for us. And to finalize, I'm sorry, Rosalie, maybe I'm out of time, but this is the last slide. So go ahead, and we want everyone to join the effort. So it's not only for archives and libraries, it's also for infrastructure to be part of our community by being knowledgeable about the fact that we can mutualize effort and can build bridges together, becoming a member of the membership group, volunteer as an ambassador, and stay in touch. And with us, we have Sabrina Granger, which is in charge of the ALIG program, and I'm sure she will be happy to answer any question maybe later on. Thank you very much. No, not today, later in the...
Well, yes. Or questions, remember, yeah, questions can come in the chat for today or for later. Thank you so much, Maureen. We will be moving to a new grouping around research assessment. So I welcome Iratze from Make Data Count.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. So if you move to, perfect. I'm Iratze Puela, Director of Make Data Count. We joined the SCOSS program just this year. It's been a great opportunity to engage more closely with institutions and libraries, and also a great opportunity for self-learnings with the other infrastructures as part of the SCOSS family. I'm quite glad to come just after Moran, who was talking about the importance of recognizing software as a research output, because there are some similarities there with what Make Data Count focuses on. We work on data specifically, but again, trying to support the community in understanding what's the reach and impact of open data, so that we can also not only gain that understanding and inform how we go about data, but also increase recognition as part of academic processes for data sets as important research output. So next slide, please. So that's the question and the goal that guides us. Make Data Count provides open infrastructure so that we can collect, standardize, aggregate, and share with the community indicators about the use of data, so that again we can collectively as a community evaluate the reach of data, inform the development of data policies, and reward data contributions. We have developed infrastructure that repositories and platforms globally use to collect and standardize and share those indicators of data usage, such as citations, views, and downloads. But importantly, all of this information is then aggregated and shared with the community with an open license. So again, it remains as part of the information that the community can get to inform its next steps and develop frameworks that work for the community. Next slide, please. I wanted to mention 3 key areas of work that we had for this year. The first is that we are doing a project specifically to build an open large aggregate of citations to data, so connections between data sets and articles, so that we can better understand how data is being used as part of research activities, This is the data citation corpus, which brings together citations identified by different groups and organizations, as well as different methodologies. This leverages metadata workflows, as well as new machine learning methodologies to complete text mining of articles and identify mentions to data. This corpus currently aggregates 10 million data citations, and some of the projects that we have done this year were also looking at leveraging the insights that we can already garner through this aggregate of citations to provide the community this information on how they can utilize this resource to better understand the use of data. An example of this is that we completed a project to explore the translational reach of data sets that use the data citation corpus as a starting point to identify highly cited data sets and then explore the use of those data sets in the literature over a span of almost 20 years. So we could create that traceability of how the data sets are useful for the community and get used over time in different studies. Next slide, please. Apart from citations, we believe it's important to expand the data usage information we collect to other indicators. We have also done work on data usage tracking through data views and downloads. Make Data can has recommendations for the implementation as part of repositories and data platforms to collect this information. And it's one of the key milestones this year was the implementation of this Make Data can recommendations by different repositories. In particular, we work with a group of generalist repositories that implemented those recommendations. It means that they can now currently increase the visibility of the use of their data sets, but providing that information themselves on the data landing pages. But they are also now contributing that usage information through the open research workflows and making that available to the larger community. We have also developed additional resources that we provide on our website to support implementation of these recommendations by repositories and data platforms. Next slide, please. And then, as I mentioned, we care about using this information and usage to then embed data as part of evaluation processes and create incentives and rewards for data's important contributions. One way in which we work on this year was through a collaboration with Helios Open, where we collectively created resources to support evaluation of data as part of institutional processes such as hiring, tenure, and promotion. We created a maturity model for institutions, implementation guides, and a number of case studies that show how different institutions are already thinking about data evaluation and including that in their academic processes. And we have shared those resources with the community. Next slide, please. And just to finish, I wanted to thank again all of the organizations and institutions that this year have provided support for Make Data Count through the SCOSS programs. We really very much appreciate that support that is enabling us to continue our work on existing infrastructure. Also, we care about enriching context for these measures, and this is something that we'll pursue in the coming months, and our collaborations to advance responsible evaluation of data. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Iratxe. Thank you. And just a reminder that folks can put questions in the chat for individual infrastructures or general questions. Wonderful. Welcome, Open Citations.
Hello, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I'm Silvio Peroni. I'm Director of Open Citations, and I will briefly introduce you about a dream that we had 15 years ago, technically, where we wanted to have open, high-quality citations data for different purposes, including a research assessment, for instance. And what it happened, basically speaking, is that we created Open Citation exactly to try to implement that dream that was just something in the mind of a few people 15 years ago. Next slide, please. And so we created Open Citation as an infrastructure. Our mission is to publish high-quality citations data and bibliographic metadata to make them available to all, with the idea of being freely reusable in different kinds of processes that involves this kind of data, including research assessment exercise. Indeed, when SCOSS selected us in 2019, one of the motivations for the selection was to be a game changer to provide an alternative source of open data compared to the proprietary sources that were available at that time. That is exactly what we are trying to do for research assessment and for other contexts. Indeed, we have experimented a lot with research assessment in the past two or 3 years with a collaboration with COARA and the Barcelona Declaration in Open Research Information, obtaining encouraging results in that respect. Next slide, please. All the data that we are collecting, we are harvesting and publishing and making available as full dumps and via REST API have been organized in 2 different collections that contains both bibliographic metadata of the entities involved in the citations and the citation link themselves defined as proper entities. And currently we contain more than 2.2 billion citation links in our collections. Next slide. And SCOSS was crucial for arriving to the current status, because SCOSS was the means that allow us to move from a research university project to a proper open infrastructure. Indeed, thanks to SCOSS, we were able to create a new governance model that allowed us to govern the infrastructure with the crucial contribution of the community, to set up sustainability strategies based on membership and donations, and to involve more people and sources of data into our ecosystem. Next slide, please. Indeed, we truly believe that infrastructure are not made of hardware and software. Honestly, they are made of people primarily. So I would like to thank all the people that are currently work day by day for the maintenance and the running of open citations here. Next slide. And these people are also crucial to build up collaborations with the existing community. We have partnership with other existing projects and infrastructure. We work together towards the same goal that relates to open science, the open science community in general, and we are obtaining a lot of support, and we have obtained a lot of support by the past 5 years by from 80 different institutions from different countries around the globe. Next slide. So this is just the last slide, since we believe that open citation is a community-guided infrastructure, so we need feedback from the community. And that's why we have recently launched a community survey just to gather feedback from the community to process the data and to understand what are our next steps there. So you can help us shaping the future of the infrastructure, because the future is owned by the community itself. And that was my last slide, so if you can just go on. Thank you all for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Silvio. And we are now moving into another theme of standards and strategy organizations. So I welcome Research Data Alliance. Let me spotlight Valerie. Thank you. Hi.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the journey of the Research Data Alliance with SCOSS. It has been really a wonderful journey. The Research Data Alliance was launched in 2013 with a rather ambitious vision that researchers and innovators can openly share and reuse data across technologies, disciplines, and across countries to address the grand challenges of society. And that ambitious vision is coupled with a more pragmatic mission of building the social and technical bridges that can enable that. We do that based on 6 very fundamental guiding principles of openness, consensus, inclusivity, harmonization, and that everything we do is community driven and it's not for profit and technology neutral. And the RDA, in the next slide, you'll see that the Research Data Alliance is made up, well, the family, we have the SCOSS family, but we also have the Research Data Alliance family, which is made up of over 16,000 individuals, volunteers, so it is truly community driven, who work together to identify these solutions for research data management and open science. And some of which, of course, become standards. They represent over 10,000 organizations, but we actually have an organizational family as well who are our supporters. And those that were very generous in pledging through the SCOSS funding are also members of that organizational family. And you cannot be global if you don't have regional support. And of course, we need regions to help us with local context and to act as catalysts. And we have over 35 of them. So what was our plan when we were very lucky enough to be selected for the 5th cycle with the Software Heritage? Our plan for 2024 to 2026 were 2 specific areas of action. One was to produce standards for data, so to actually implement a standardization process within RDA itself, and also to engage with the Southern Hemisphere. The pledges, which we see on the next slide, that we received, must have been missed. I don't know where it's gone. But anyway, the pledges that we received were about 17% of our overall ambition. So on the slide that's missing, you would see that unfortunately we were not able to take forward the standards process. But we were able to do much engagement in the Southern Hemisphere. RDA has about 25% of our membership in 2024 were from the Southern Hemisphere. And that's not sufficient for a global organization. So we engaged a lot in that. The engagement with La Referencia, which is wonderful because it's also a member of the SCOSS family, allowed us to increase our Latin American membership by 20%. And also to have more regional members from that part of the world. And that includes La Referencia, who represent the Latin American component, in addition to having Costa Rica and Ecuador as individual members. On the next slide, I'd like to show the value for us. The value, of course, yes, there was the pledges, but the value of SCOSS, for anyone considering it, if you haven't understood it already, is actually the connections that it brings and this wonderful network of organizations together. We really benefited a great deal from that, not just with La Referencia and Software Heritage, with whom we were in the funding cycle. So we established a special relationship with them, but with all the others, and we would not have had the opportunity to perhaps come in such close engagement and understand more opportunities and synergies to work together without SCOSS. What are we going to do for the last year with the funding and the pledges that we've received? On the next slide, we say that we are going to continue the engagement in Latin America, but of course, we need to move to other regions in the world, and that will allow us to intensify some activities in Africa in view of the fact that in 2027, we have a large International Data Week event happening there. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and also to thank the SCOSS, Rosalie, Vanessa, and all the team at SCOSS very much, because without their support, we would not have had that much success in this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hilary. Appreciate that. And we are on to, can't believe it, last but most certainly not least, ROAR. So I will bring on, we're into a new grouping of identifiers and metadatas. So I will bring on Ria.
Thanks, Rosalie. Can you go to the next slide, please? Hi, everyone. I'm really honored to be here with such an esteemed group of fellow members of the SCOSS family, and appreciate everyone joining and also watching this after the fact. I have the challenge and also delight in going after all of these excellent presentations and talking a little bit about how ROAR and identifiers and metadata fit into that picture. I think what's really clear and what I want to emphasize from all of the presentations that we've heard and from the work that we do at ROAR is that when we're talking about essential open science infrastructure, yes, we are talking about infrastructure, but we are also talking about the organizations that are responsible for maintaining this infrastructure and all of the users and communities that are using and relying upon this essential infrastructure. What does ROAR do? We provide essential infrastructure to identify all of the research and funding organizations around the world that participate in the research enterprise. We have been laser focused on two very important things: providing a useful open data source that many of the SCOSS family members here have been implementing in their systems. And also we built a community of ROAR stakeholders and champions and enthusiasts over the years. And so we really continue to be guided by this ethos of openness and supporting a truly community-driven solution to address a common problem. We have been around for about almost 8 years now, approaching our anniversary. All of the work that we have been doing has been guided by community input every step of the way. We are supported and operated by 3 trusted organizations, California Digital Library, Crossref, and DataSite. So we're also trying to set an example for infrastructure sustainability that takes the slightly unique approach, in that we're trying to provide infrastructure that is open and free for anyone to use, and to establish that and maintain that with a lightweight operating model. We're not reliant on membership fees, service fees. We're not dependent on time-limited grants or funding. We want ROAR to be a common good that everyone can benefit from. We had a lot of momentum and a lot of support when we first got off the ground. And what's really remarkable about the SCOSS, being part of the SCOSS family and the SCOSS experience, is that this came at a very pivotal time for ROAR to expand and to grow in momentum. So in the 3 years that we have been part of the SCOSS family, we have been able to accelerate development on our API as it continues to be used and adopted around the world. We have seen upwards of 20 million monthly requests on average for the ROAR API, which I think is a signal of the importance of the infrastructure that ROAR is providing. We have also been able to develop our community-driven curation process, whereby we are actively maintaining data in the ROAR registry. And we've continued to support active community engagement through our regular community calls, through the documentation that we provide. So all of that was already underway when we became part of the SCOSS family. And thanks to all of the contributions that we have received from the community, we were really able to double down and accelerate those efforts and make sure that ROAR was able to be easily adopted and used by everyone around the world. So I want to express my gratitude to everyone who has supported ROAR in so many ways, and also gratitude especially to SCOSS for selecting us. And it's been a true honor and pleasure to be part of it, and to be part of this network and community.
So we are at it. Unbelievable that we have reached this point, but we have gone through all the infrastructures. I know that I can certainly say I thank everybody for presenting today. It's kind of like a really fast format, but we thought it was really useful for everyone to have a chance to be able to just give you a little update of what they're doing, where they are, and what they've been accomplishing. And thank you all the supporters who've supported them over the years, and will those who haven't supported, consider supporting. So thank you very much, and encourage you to reach out to any of the infrastructures that were of interest to you today.